Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I want to welcome everyone back to DJ Real Talk in the Raw podcast. Welcome, everybody, on this Wednesday morning. We're going to have a fantastic show on today. It's going to be very informative. It's something that I feel that needs to be said. So often we as American people, we can experience and see things and we react at the moment. And as time passes, our memory seems to fail us and we forget what was said or what has happened in this country. And therefore, by doing so, we have this, I guess you would say, way of repeating a thing over and over again. But we're going to get into that. But first, I want to welcome everyone to DJ Real Talk in the Raw. I'm so glad to be with you guys on this morning. Yes, I am. And I would like you to do something for me before we get started. I would like for you to go to my YouTube page, DJ Real Talk in the Raw, or you can type in H. Dean Johnson and go and like and subscribe. If you would, please, ma'am and sir, go like and subscribe on my YouTube page. I'm trying to build an audience, as I tell you often, on that podcast on YouTube. And you can do that for me. I have great participation here on Facebook Live. And I want to thank you guys because you don't have to come on to support or to listen to me, but you do. And for that, I am eternally grateful. So some of you that are listeners here on Facebook Live, if you would, please, ma'am and sir, go to my my YouTube page, DJ Real Talk in the Raw, or under H. Dean Johnson, and like and subscribe. It won't cost you a dime. Just a click of a button, and guess what? I will be so appreciative. So do that for me, please, ma'am and sir. We'll talk about that again as we end the show. But I'm looking forward to seeing more subscribers. Okay? Let's see here. Let's get into this. What are we going to talk about today? Well, guess what? We're going to talk about why you need to vote blue in November. Dean, why are you saying that? The reason I'm saying that, I'm going to give you a whole lot of reasons why you should actually vote blue. My pastor, Pastor John Fitzgerald Hanna, often admonishes New Life Covenant Southeast to vote. He never tells us who to vote for, but he does tell us that we should exercise our power at the polls and vote because of what is going on in and around us in this country. He tells us, get to the polls, vote, don't stay at home, but exercise your right. And that is to vote, which is our power. Now, oftentimes when he says that, I yell out in the audience, you can't say it, but I can, and I yell out, vote blue. And all of my church family that sits around me, they just start laughing. They know me, but I mean it. Vote blue. Pastor can't say that. I can. Okay, so let's talk about why you should vote blue. Often we say it's common sense. And I'm not trying to, well, I ain't going to say that. I was going to say I'm not trying to offend anyone. But common sense isn't always common sense because people allow other things to get in the way, like racism, bigotry, prejudice, all of those kinds of things seems to block people doing the right thing, right? It does. They know what's right, but they choose not to do it because of their personal feelings against maybe certain groups of people, ethnicities, races, creeds, colors, all of that. And so they vote differently. We can see that in this past election. Why? They voted for a 34 count convicted felon, person that was convicted on 34 counts. They voted for them anyway. In this country, oftentimes, those folk can't even get a job. But this guy got the job, the highest job you could ever get in this country that we call these United States of America. The White House. The White House. Not McDonald's, not Burger King. Not trying to land a job in corporate America with convictions and felonies. But he made it to the White House because of you. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to talk about why this country should vote blue. And guess what? You guys have been doing it. I must applaud you because change must come, and change can only come forth with you and I because we're the people and we have the power, right? And that's voting. Voting. So let's talk about why Dean is saying all of this. Do you guys remember January 6th? Do you remember? So often people forget it, out of sight, out of mind. And you don't remember what happened to our Capitol. You don't remember what happened to our law enforcement officers. You don't remember what they were trying to do to Congress. You have a tendency to forget. So I'm going to remind you of what happened on January 6th, that the Orange Man and all of his followers called a peaceful protest, a peaceful protest. Well, it's amazing that that was called peaceful when damage, harm, even folk were killed, but that was called peaceful. But other times when there are protests, for whatever reason, they call it violence, a gang, all of that. But this was called peaceful. Yet, these people did not have clearance at all to enter the Capitol. You got to have clearance. How do I know? I've been there. You have vetted everything in order to get in. They didn't have clearance. And they used manual force. Was that peaceful? Breaking and entering? I define peaceful. So January 6th is a large reason you should be voting blue. Because on January 6th, it was going to be the transferring of power from one administration to another. And it's supposed to be a peaceful transition. But was it peaceful? No. They had a guillotine. They had weapons. They had everything that you could name. Why did they have the guillotine? It was to hang Pence, who happened to be the Orange Man's vice president. Why did they want to hang him? Because he refused to not certify the election. He knew the Constitution. And for once throughout that entire term that he was vice president to the orange guy, he did his job. Because all the other times he bowed to the man. But this particular time, he had a spine and he stood up and he certified this election that even to today, that Republican Party, along with their God, claim was stolen. Every case that went before a judge was thrown out. Every single case, and trust me, there were many, but they were thrown out. So that in itself, it's amazing how at certain times you want to accept the rulings of the court when it's something you like. But in other times, you say the court wasn't or isn't fair. So January 6th is a large reason why you need to vote blue. Yes, in November. I want to read just a little something so I can kind of jar your memory. It says, on December 18th, Trump called for supporters to attend a rally before the January 6th congressional vote count. Writing on Twitter, big protest in DC on January 6th. Be there, be wild. On December 28th, far-right activist Al Alexander described collaboration with the Proud Boys and explained the purpose of the January 6th event would be built. Let me get it right. To provide momentum and pressure to convince members of Congress to alter the election results. He named 3 Republican members of the House as allies who were planning something big. Paul Gosar, Andy Biggs, and Mo Brooks were the 4 guys who came up with this, a January 6th event. That's what Alexander said. Now, I want to go way to the back because there's so much. I can't read it all, but I want to remind you of something. So it's not like it was a total surprise to some people. To us, it was, but not to everybody. On January 5th, the media published stories about widespread prediction of violence on at the DC. Mayor Browser called for residents to avoid the downtown area where protesters would march. Sorry, can't see. Then it says 3 days before the Capitol attack, the Capitol Police Intelligence Unit circulated a memo warning that Trump supporters see the day of the Electoral College vote count as a last opportunity to overturn the results of the presidential election and could use violence against Congress itself on that day. Intelligence knew. It wasn't a secret. It was being planned strategically to overthrow the government by their fearless leader, who y'all voted for, 34 count convicted felon. So that's one reason you should vote for blue, isn't it? What y'all think? Is that a good reason to vote blue? Because of what happened on January 6th? But let's fast forward. These people under the new administration were convicted, well, tried and convicted for their crimes by the Democratic administration. They were able to locate them all. They went to prison. Some even pleaded guilty. Others found guilty, went to prison. But when y'all voted for the 34 count convicted felon to retain the White House, he pardoned them all, let them out of prison. That's another reason you need to vote blue. He let all of those criminals out. Yes, he did. And the next thing he did, as we fast forward, he wanted to pay them restitution. Yeah, to criminals, the January 6th insurrectionists, he wanted to pay restitution. They were so wrong. They were wrongly jailed, convicted, because they were just doing their civic duty, peacefully protesting. That's one reason, January 6th, that you need to vote blue. Then, under this new administration, the orange guy and his cronies, Senate Republicans were, along with his instructions, gerrymandering maps so that they could disenfranchise other ethnic groups from voting. So they didn't want you to vote. They were redistricting, gerrymandering, changing maps to prevent you from exercising your right to vote. Well, don't you think that you should make it to the polls in November so that you can remove those individuals that were trying to take away your right to vote? I'm giving you guys reasons why in November you need to vote blue. Gerrymandering. Yeah, really. The next reason, there are so many people in this country that are not as fortunate as others. And because of that, of course, this country that we live in, that we call the richest country in the world, America, we should take care of our own, right? That no one would be homeless, go without food, be naked, all of those things, right? And so in this country, we have programs that help those of us that may be in need. I think that's awesome. But under the Orange Man's administration, he aggressively targeted federal programs for elimination, introducing an estimated 83% of the program is called USAID program, USAID program, roughly 5,200 foreign aid awards and over 760 Department of Education grants. Key cuts include significant NIH and CDC funding reductions and DOJ grant terminations for community safety. So he targeted a lot of programs to eliminate funding that was going to help people. Yeah, assist you. And those programs were eliminated or either cut. Wouldn't you think that would be another reason to vote blue? I'm just trying to help you remember all of this. When he hired the Muskie man, he hired him and gave him a department, DOGE, and they were supposed to streamline government. So they started with firing federal workers. Yeah, firing federal workers, those of you that worked on behalf of this government to make sure that this country could run efficiently. Well, their first order was to fire a whole slew of you. All of y'all should be voting blue. But they were streamlining government because there was so much waste. It's what we, the American people, were being told. So all of these programs that were eliminated, these federal jobs that were eliminated, it was to help the deficit. Did it really help the deficit? They're spending trillions of dollars and you don't get a dime. This orange guy uses our tax dollars as if it were his purse. What has he done? Number one, the left wing of the White House tore it down. Just demolished it. Went right on past Congress. He don't have to talk to anybody because the Supreme Court gave him ultimate power. He's a god. Yeah, king. He doesn't have to get approval from anyone. So they demolished it because he wants to build a $1 billion ballroom with your money. See, they freed up money that he could spend, our money. So there's a ballroom that he wants to build and fill it up with all this gaudy gold and all of that. He said something elegant. Really? Have you seen his hotels? Listen, that's another reason you should vote blue. Your tax dollars. There was nothing really wrong with what was there. The left wing of the White House. Actually, that's where the first ladies did all of their business. He didn't care nothing about them. Well, we understand, well, read between the lines in regards to his, tore it down. No congressional approval so that he can build a $1 billion to put his name on it. That's another reason you need to vote blue. I'm trying to help y'all. Things that you don't seem to remember, I'm going to jar your memory. Guess who they often say that the people are the biggest cause of welfare. Yeah, people, the American people, always gimme, 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 just draining the country because you're lazy and you don't want to work. You want a handout. So you're the biggest hardship in this country, welfare. You people that are lazy. Let's talk about it. The biggest welfare queens in this country are the giant corporations that don't pay a penny in federal tax. The biggest welfare queens are the CEOs who get a tax deduction for flying on a private jet. It's not hungry kids. It's not working parents who work multiple jobs. It's not. I just shared with you the biggest welfare queens in this country. And guess what? They don't call it welfare. They call it a tax incentive. Our money. That's another reason you need to vote blue. Let's see here. It's a whole lot. Isn't that amazing? Gasoline prices are so high, aren't they? There's a war going on. It's in Iran. Guess what? The orange guy said that we got to desecrate those nuclear weapons. And so he started a war without Congress approval. So now our country is in so much debt, and prices are just skyrocketing out of the roof for everyday working people. Gas, food, everything is just so expensive because of an unnecessary war. What's the war really about? Oil and Israel. That's what it's about. Not about you and I. There are no nuclear weapons. It's amazing when they're talking about nuclear weapons, but he's talking about dropping nukes. So I'm confused. Does the United States have nuclear weapons? He wants to obliterate a country and its people. That's a war crime. So that's another reason you need to vote blue. Why? Your purse. Yeah. And to prevent this man from, at some point, causing a war crime. Oh, Jesus. This is amazing. So, are you hungry? Do you have enough money for gasoline? Can you pay rent? Is it a little harder on your mortgage? Are you able to educate your children? Give them lunch money? Can you buy the clothes that's needed to go on their backs? We can barely afford anything. When you think that's a reason to vote blue, let's see here. Wow, it's just amazing. Then, you know, he wrote so many executive orders. Yeah, whole lot of them. Every time you looked up, he was signing an executive order, eliminating federal DEI programs, rescinding affirmative action, banning diverse concepts in training, wow, banning history that concerns other ethnicities other than white people in our schools, libraries. I think he even wanted it off of the internet. A melting pot, this country of immigrants that have all contributed to the success of this country we call these United States of America. But he wants to wipe out certain ethnicities, history. That's another reason to vote blue. Do you know what affirmative action really is, or DEI? Doesn't just help minorities, helps women, white women, all of that. Just give you a fair advantage. Not that you're not qualified, it just makes sure that you're in the game. They don't want you in the game. So how do you stay in the game? You vote blue. Yeah. I'm trying to help y'all. I really am. Because people soon forget. Our children are our greatest investment. Yet, this administration is not concerned about spending money on them. What do you mean, Dean? Me, I can't imagine wanting a $400,000, well, it's really $1 billion ballroom to protect one man, but not wanting to spend $0 to protect our children. How many school shootings has this country experienced? Massive school shootings all over the country, where parents have lost their children to gun violence. No one seems to care. Well, you have an opportunity to turn these things around. How do you do it? You vote blue to protect our children. Anytime the January 6th officers sworn to protect and serve have to sue to prevent the orange guy from using a $1.8 billion slush fund to pay restitution to the insurrectionists. That's a reason to vote blue. That's a reason. Okay, the orange man says it's not possible for the United States to pay for Medicaid, Medicare, and daycare. He said, we're fighting a war. Well, let's see. We're fighting a senseless war where they're spending our money wastefully because we are worse off than we were before the war began. But this orange man said it's not possible for the United States to pay for Medicaid, Medicare, and daycare. Isn't that something? But you want to give $1.8 million to the insurrectionists, criminals convicted and tried. But nothing for Medicaid, Medicare, daycare. One of those, I can't remember which one it is, we pay for it. I think is it Medicare? One of them. We pay for one of them. I know I do, $200 some a month. It ain't free. So I'm confused. We pay a premium. Don't y'all pay a premium? Yeah. But that's what he said. Because we're fighting, I'm going to add a senseless war that our tax dollars can't go to help you. Wow, that's another reason to vote blue. I got to remind y'all, because y'all forget so easy everything that this man and his cronies have done. This war that we're in Iran, y'all know the Strait is causing a lot of problems. The man lies all the time. Oh, we're going to have control. We got control. Don't have any control. Never will have control of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has control. They have the power. That's why gas prices are so high. That's why commodities, all of that. We can't get through because we're fighting a senseless war. There are no agreements. None. And guess what? This orange man tried to get other countries to, listen, I'm going to read this. After the orange guy asked for help, he said that he could do it in a week. It's been over 7 months. This war, it was going to be done. Oh, in a week, all of that would be over. Then he said, oh, we can do it by ourselves. We have a powerful armed forces. After the Orange Man asked for help, not a single country has publicly agreed to send warships to secure the Strait of Hormuz. Imagine talking trash to every country in the world and putting tariffs on them, only to beg for their help after you started this senseless war. Ain't that something? Now he was begging for their help. Oftentimes they say, you got to remember what you've done to someone. Why? Because one day you just might need them. Well, he has talked trash to all those countries. Now we're asking for help. And they've done only the right thing. They said no. Wouldn't you? That's another reason to vote blue. Last but not least, y'all know this thing that they call the SAVE Act? That these Republicans are so upset because they can't pass it, because they want to stop you from voting. Because in the SAVE Act, they're claiming that we need to be able to identify citizens that have the right to vote. They need to provide an ID. When I go to vote, I provide an ID, a driver's license, with my picture on it. I'm confused. What is it that needs to be? I provided already. They asked for an ID, my driver's license. My picture's on it. I give it to them. They scan it, and then I sign. I'm confused. So what is the SAVE Act? I'm going to tell you what it is. The SAVE Act requires that you take your birth certificate or passport in order to vote, to get your driver's license, your state ID. But guess what? My sisters have married names. Their last names, they've been changed. So their names don't match their birth certificates. Their passports don't match their birth certificates. So then, how do they vote? You married women. How do you vote? If you can't afford a passport, because you're going to have to get a passport. Those of you that maybe not be able to find your birth certificates, you have to send off for them. Now, depending on where you lived and all of that, sometimes courthouses have burned down. They're not there anymore. You got to do a whole lot of work to identify who you are in order to get a passport. Or this document that states who you are, because it's not like a regular birth certificate. How do I know? My brother had to do it. And Congressman Voskowski's office at the time assisted him in getting all of that done. It's a lot of work. That's another reason you need to vote blue. And last but not least, why vote? Voting gives you the power to create positive change for your communities and to determine a better quality of life for you and your family. Voting together with your neighbors, families, and friends ensure that you share values and issues, that your shared values and issues are prioritized, that you play a key role in choosing who represents you and where government funding and resources will go. The more we vote, the more powerful our voices become, and the likelier the issues that are important to us will be heard. Our community has historically been one of the communities with the lowest voter registration and voter turnout rates. In recent years, this has changed, and we are quickly becoming a force to be reckoned with at the ballot box. So, join the rest of our communities and exercise your important right to vote. Enough said. Enough said. So I'm on here telling why you need to vote blue coming up in November, because it's to your best interest to do so in order to take our country back. Currently, our country is being ran by one man because the Republican Congress have basically just giving him their power, and they're not doing their job at all. They have relinquished their responsibility to their constituents. And this orange man is carrying out whatever he chooses because he has no restraints. There's no check. There's no balance. We have the opportunity in November to change that. And that's why I'm saying to each and every one of you to use your voting right and vote blue, that we can have a check and balance in this country that we call the United States of America. And we can only do that by voting blue. Guess what's going to happen? They're going to rein the orange man in. Yes. Yes. He just won't be able to just do as he will and to just recklessly spend our tax dollars. His family has made billions of dollars thus far while he is in office. Yet, your income has dwindled. It is time for us to stand up and make our voices heard. So in November, get up, get out of the bed. If your neighbors don't have transportation, back in the day, we drove them to the polls. Do it now. I don't care how long you have to stand in line. Stand. Why? Don't say your vote don't count, because it really does. It really does. So let's make a difference, okay, people? Let's make a difference. So before I leave you, again, would you please like and subscribe my YouTube page on YouTube? That's DJ Real Talk in the Raw, or you can go to HD Johnson. It'll pop up, and then all you need to do is hit that button to like and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that, ma'am and sir. And then again, to all of you on Facebook Live, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, because you join me every time I come on. And I appreciate it because you don't have to do it. But honestly, I just want us to do the right thing. Our country is in bad shape. And the man's, is it dementia? Is it Alzheimer's? What is it? But something isn't right. They so often challenge President Joe Biden's mental abilities. He didn't do this. He did not do this. Why aren't they challenging this man's mental state? I don't know, but we have a chance to turn it around. So again, please, madam, sir, in November, make it to the polls. Do your due diligence. Vote blue. Let's turn this thing around. We can make a difference. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Listen, before you leave your homes today, plead the blood of Jesus over your house, your family, your loved ones, your neighbors, your enemies, and your frenemies. God's protective blood. Plead it that he will go with you, cover you, keep you safe from all hurt, harm, and danger. Never forget these three mantras. My brother, the short guy, Minister Antonio Thigpen, says to go and be great. My God brother, the voice himself, the one and only, Jesse Campbell, tells us to love and light. I remind us every day that when you were created in the womb of your mother, God gave you a purpose and an assignment. Walk in your purpose. Fulfill the God-given assignments that are attached to your life. Never forget, assignments are attached to people. All three mantras lead to kingdom building. At the end of every day, it's about the kingdom of God. Have I given anything today? Have I helped a needy soul along the way? Just to know I've done my best. As I go to take my rest, then my living and giving is not in vain in the Lord. That was the mantra of the late Dr. Ferris D. Evans. Listen, the Bible says, watch as well as pray. Keep your eyes open, people, and pray. It's praying time. Praying time. Yes, it is. So listen, how do we deal with carjackers? They're real people. They're out there. And this is what I say you need to do. Keep your doors locked. Keep your windows up. And if them suckers walk up to your car and they're trying to get in, put your foot on the gas, press it to the floor, and drag them suckers until they let go. I said, now, my brother, Troy Taylor Jr. told me to let you know that once you do that, you need to call 911. And I'll say this part of it so that they can come and pick up the trash. So, guys, I'll see you on Friday morning at 8 o'clock a.m. Yes, Friday at 8 o'clock a.m. DJ Real Talk in the Raw will be with you. Until then, you have a fantastic day. Enjoy this day. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. For those of you that always join my sister, Pastor Evangelist, Dr. Darlene Allen Nichols, at 7:20 a.m. on Fridays, there's no prayer this Friday. Her and my brother, her husband, Pastor Eugene Nichols, will be celebrating their wedding anniversary. So she will see us on next Friday. Have a fantastic day. Love you with my whole heart. Yes, DJ, Real